Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of articles, research, and expert notes, synthesize it all, and basically give you the shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're getting into something really crucial, a deep dive into resilience. And why? Because, let's be honest, life almost never follows the map you drew out for yourself.
Not even close.
Plans shift, opportunities just evaporate, and sometimes the ground literally changes right under your feet. So our mission today is to figure out what resilience really is and, how you can build that quiet, stubborn ability to adapt when the world is moving way faster than your plans. Before we jump in, a quick word that makes all of this possible. This deep dive was brought to you by ProCare Hanoi. They're the phone and laptop repair shop that the expat community really trusts.
They're great.
Fast service, clear communication, and just honest advice. It's exactly what you need when your tech starts to sweat. They've been building that long-term integrity since 2009. And also, if you find value in these deep dives, I'd love your support. This is really a labor of love, and Buy Me a Coffee is the simplest way to just say thanks. Every single cup helps keep me going, trust me. Just scan the QR code in the podcast cover art. And a huge thanks to those who are already supporting. You are absolutely fueling this journey.
Okay, so let's unpack this. When we talk about resilience, I think the image that comes to mind for most people is someone who's just tough.
Right, the unbreakable person.
Exactly, the person who never cries, never fails. But the research we've been looking at suggests that's, mostly a myth. What does resilience actually look like when things genuinely collapse?
Yeah, we have to get past that sort of glamorous made of steel idea. Resilience, in all the psychological research we reviewed, it isn't about being steel at all. It's about bending without losing yourself.
Bending without losing yourself, I like that. It's the capacity to absorb a massive shock, maybe even look, unrecognizable for a moment, but then you reform and you keep going.
Yeah.
It's really all about flexibility.
It's such an important distinction because steel can be brittle.
It can snap.
Right. The toughest seeming people are sometimes the ones who snap because they can't bend when something unexpected hits them.
You've hit the key concept right there.
Okay.
Psychological flexibility. True resilience isn't just grit, which is, sticking to a goal no matter what.
Right.
It's about knowing when that goal itself isn't viable anymore and having the internal setup to pivot without just falling apart completely.
Okay, so give us some real world examples. What does that shock look like for you listening on a random Tuesday afternoon?
Well, it looks like that job interview you were absolutely sure you had in the bag. The one that was going to stabilize everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then nothing. It just goes nowhere. Or it's that huge, sudden change in the visa process, and now you might have to leave the country you just built a life in.
Or something more personal, like a relationship suddenly shifting under your feet.
Exactly, something that just pulls your emotional foundation out from under you.
And it's almost never just one thing, is it? Life has this cool sense of timing.
It really does. It's the compounded stress. When your job, your housing, and your health all hit turbulence at the same time, that's the real proving ground. Resilience is that active, learned skill of refusing to let that cluster of setbacks define who you are.
So it's about separating yourself from the outcome.
Yes, it's choosing, moment by moment, where to put your energy, instead of just feeling like you are a failure because your plan failed.
The plan failed, but I did not.
That's it. It is absolutely earned. And that actually brings us to I think the most interesting part, the transformative power of these setbacks.
Let's start with the feeling, though, because when the plan collapses, there's that physical sensation of frustration or disappointment. It just sits in your chest like a heavy stone.
And that's valid. You can't ignore that feeling. But what's so fascinating here is what those moments of failure actually reveal. Something that, stability tends to hide.
Yeah.
The sources kept hitting this one idea. Plans fail, but people grow. The plan was just a route on a map. But the ability to try, to fail, to analyze that failure and pivot, that's you, the person, growing in real time.
That's a great way to put it. It's like we confuse the map for the actual territory. When the map is suddenly useless, we think the world is gone.
Exactly. But really, you just need a new compass reading. I mean, think about a time in your own life when you were forced into a huge pivot. Maybe you had to change careers or even countries because of something you couldn't control.
It's terrifying. You feel like you've been pushed off the road and you're just standing still while everyone else rushes past.
You feel paralyzed. But the really surprising thing comes later, right? After the dust settles, you look back and you realize that because that old predictable route closed.
The one you thought you needed.
The one you thought you needed. You were forced to find a totally different path, maybe a slower one that required more patience. And in doing that, you found a version of yourself, a stronger, wiser version you never would have met if everything had just gone smoothly.
Wow. So resilience doesn't show up when life is easy. It's forged when life gets messy.
Entirely.
Okay, so this is powerful stuff, but let's make it practical. Let's get into the how. How do we stay steady when the plans are actually falling apart?
We need an operations manual. Resilience isn't just a philosophy, it's a daily practice. It's about operationalizing stability when there's chaos all around.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We synthesized 3 grounded practices from the research that actually work.
This one sounds simple, but it's fundamental. When stress hits, when that bad news email lands in your inbox, your body immediately goes into a fight or flight response.
Cortisol floods the system.
Exactly, and it hijacks the thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, in favor of the emotional, more primitive part. Your brain is basically screaming, explode or run away.
Even if the threat is just a bureaucratic form.
Yes. So the mechanism here is to create an interrupt switch. The simple act of taking one deep breath in and one slow breath out. It's not just about calming down. It's a physiological command.
Okay, so what's it doing?
It activates the vagus nerve, which is like the superhighway for the rest and digest system.
Yeah.
It sends a signal straight to your brain that says the danger isn't immediate.
You're buying time.
You're buying just enough time to create a space between the event and your reaction. So instead of just reacting emotionally, you can actually respond logically. You let the thinking part of your brain come back online and say, okay, this is bad, but it's not a saber-toothed tiger. We can handle this.
All right, I think a lot of us know this feeling. The moment of failure hits and you freeze. We call it analysis paralysis. The problem feels so huge, so monumental that you just start moving.
And that's a classic psychological pitfall. When the cognitive load gets too high, the brain just sort of shuts down. The solution is to reframe the problem completely. You have to reject the mountain metaphor.
And embrace what?
The micro step. Don't try to solve the whole thing at once. Just pick the next single achievable action. Something you can do in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Can you give us a really concrete example of that? Like, how small are we talking?
We looked at this one case study of someone who had just a total financial and personal collapse, lost their business, their house, everything. And for 3 days, they just froze.
Understandable.
Totally. Then their spouse came in and pointed to this huge, terrifying pile of unopened mail on the counter all bills, final notices, just the physical symbol of the crisis.
Oh, that's daunting.
Right. And the next small step wasn't figure out bankruptcy. It was just, let's sort this mail into 3 piles. Trash, information, and action. That's it.
And that one small thing broke the paralysis.
It broke the paralysis. It proved to the mind that movement was still possible. Then the next small step was call the first number on the action pile. It's the cumulative power of these tiny steps that gets you through, not one big heroic leap.
It's about forward motion, no matter how small.
The movement, not the magnitude. That's what matters.
Okay, so we've established that the road on the map can change. It probably should change. But a crisis can feel like you've lost your entire foundation, your direction.
Right. And this is where we need to anchor ourselves. When everything around you is moving fast, you have to find what doesn't move at all.
Your principles.
Your core anchoring values. Things like integrity, responsibility, patience, family. These aren't just, nice words. They are the principles that define your identity strategically.
So how do you find those, especially when you're feeling lost?
Well, you don't invent them. They're revealed in a crisis. You ask yourself, when everything else is falling apart, what is the one thing I'm absolutely willing to compromise on?
Even if it makes things harder in the short term.
Especially then. You might lose your job, so you compromise on income for a while, but you won't compromise on your integrity during that transition. You might have to move, so you compromise on location, but not on your commitment to family.
That's a huge distinction. The job, the house, the timeline, those are tactics.
Exactly. The values, integrity, family, that's your foundation. When you know what you stand for, your plan can change 10 times, but you won't lose your fundamental direction. Your magnetic north stays fixed, even if the whole landscape changes.
So your identity is tied to your values, not your outcomes.
Precisely.
Let's move to a small reflection exercise that you can try maybe later today. It's a way to apply this to your own life and get some perspective pretty quickly.
Okay, so take a moment and think of a major setback in your past. A door that slammed shut, a partnership that ended, Something that just did not go according to plan at all.
Got one.
Now, instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what specific skill or piece of knowledge did I learn from that event that I actually use now? Second, what strength did I uncover in myself that I didn't even know I had until I was tested? Maybe it was patience or just raw determination. And third, who did I become because of that change? Did you become more independent, more careful with your trust, more focused?
And when you do that, when you really reflect on it, what's the realization?
The realization is almost always that you're tougher than you thought you were in the moment. You're wiser than you expected to be. And you are definitely more capable than you're giving yourself credit for right now.
The messy periods really are the proving grounds.
They're what build the best parts of who you are now.
So what does this all mean? I guess it means accepting that change is going to happen. It means choosing flexibility over being rigid and consciously hitting that pause button. What matters is adjusting your stride, staying anchored in your values, and just choosing that next small step to keep moving.
The person you become through the struggle is always more interesting than the person who had the perfect plan from the start.
That's so true. A final thank you to our sponsor, ProCare Hanoi. They've been serving the expat community with honest, reliable phone and laptop repair for more than 15 years. They get that when your tech fails, you need fast, trustworthy resilience. Life may not give you the path you want, but it rarely closes all the doors. So that raises a question for you to mull on. When you look back at your biggest setbacks, how long did it really take you to notice the new door, often a better one that opened quietly right beside the one that slammed shut? Until our next deep dive.